Reddit, what's the stupidest thing you've ever spent money on? I was up late drinking whiskey and watching TV. I don't remember that night very well, but a few weeks later I received the DVD set Lots and Lots of Trains in the mail. I have wondered deeply until this day who would buy such a thing. Now I know, it's drunk people. I bought a minidisc player recorder soon after it was introduced. I was convinced that it was the next digital media technology. Boy was I wrong. HD DVDs, man, I feel ya. It cost me $30 in Western Union fees to send $300 to some guy in Bosnia-Herzegovina. I was 15 and I was ordering something over the internet. Never got it, of course. I spent about $100 for a bodyboard and fins. Was going to hit the beach every weekend during summer. The first day, I split my knee open on the reef. Haven't gone back since. My board has been collecting dust for 2 years now. I'm studying nursing and I got very nostalgic about my past artistic days, so I bought a $50 paintbrush because it was so fancy and the bristles were so soft and fine, and I touched it and got transported to a magical world. This happened a month ago and my bank account is still sulking. More than $50 paintbrush. That sucker better be made out of unicorn mane. A pair of amazing fancy vintage shoes that don't quite fit. I ditched a trusty old scruffy pair of boots from the luggage to make room for them when returning from a trip. Haven't worn them once. Miss the old shoes all the time. Still have those goddamn shoes. Useless and fancy. I look at them from time to time, filled with scorn and regret. I have so many shoe regrets. Sometimes they are so cute but just look horrible on me. But I can't see it until I'm trying to wear them out a week later. 10 years ago I spent $400 on a gorgeous leather satchel because the sales clerk made me feel poor by implying I couldn't afford it. In my insane immaturity, I was furious and stupid and bought it to prove something, completely planning on having my aunt return it the next day for a refund. Then it turned out I couldn't get a refund, so I kept it. I learned 3 important lessons that day, so I guess it's not all a waste. And that satchel is freaking gorgeous. I want to see this gorgeous satchel. I once spent $5 for a strawberry on a stick. I was at a Japanese festival and thought there was something unique and cultural about it. I ate it and realized I just spent $5 for a strawberry on a stick. I own 10 square feet of land in Scotland. I live in the US. Slot machines. You don't realize how stupid it is till afterwards, but it's literally a machine that takes your money and gives you nothing in return, most of the time. However, it's shiny and makes funny noises. A pair of crappy Sold by Ludacris headphones. They were extremely uncomfortable and broke within a few weeks. Traded them in on the warranty with the store and bought a pair of Sennheiser HD 449s. Never looked back. Also, they are the most comfortable pair of freaking headphones I've ever had. I could wear them all dang day long. Congratulations on the major upgrade. I hate when people come into my store looking for headphones and scoff at the good ones and spend way too much on the crappy rapper endorsed ones. Horse masks for my friends. I've bought 3 so far. When one of my closer friends seems depressed or sad, I find a way to ask them for their address. Most are out of state now, and I surprise them with a horse mask. $60 for lulz. I dunno. If it cheers someone up, I don't think it's a waste. You sound like a cool friend. Lottery tickets. But I quit buying them after I read somewhere that you have a greater chance of dying in a car accident on the way to buy the ticket than you do actually winning. At a family reunion, we had one of those auction things where you write down your bid on a piece of paper next to the object and others come by and try to outbid you. A Dutch auction, I think. Anyway, for whatever reason I wound up putting down $10 on a hand basket full of teddy bears. I was 19 and had absolutely no use for 9 old teddy bears of various sizes. Lottery, a tax on people who are bad at math. Bought a $400 bicycle. Used it about 6 times for a total of less than 10 miles. Stored it in my apartment garage without a lock. Was stolen. Maybe the person who stole it is actually using it. Strip club. I felt lonelier when I walked out than I did when I walked in. Also $100 poorer. Worst expenditure ever. Last time I was at the strip club, I dropped over $350, and that includes $24 ATM fees. Law school. Worst $250 I've ever spent. I just ordered a captain's yacht hat for $6 because my roommate said I need a drinking hat. I was drunk enough to agree. Update. Roommates just called me. I think the hat has arrived. Dude, you will not regret this, trust me. Bought a GoPro Hero 2. Went snowboarding the day I got it and lost it on the slopes. Bought another one the next day. Not a waste of money, but definitely a bummer. Learn how to use the mounts and a tether before you lose this one. And write your name on a card you can keep in the housing so if it is found it can be returned. A younger, more foolish me, bought an HDMI cable for $85. Well, it stopped working after less than a year and I bought a 3-pack for $12 that have been working for 2+ years. Pokemon cards. Binders and binders of holographics for no other purpose other than to be popular for about a month. Dang, those guys were marketing geniuses. Stay the heck away from Magic: The Gathering. $10 for a brand new motorcycle. Then got a girlfriend and obligations and started working 55+ hours a week and had to buy a car to fit her in and carry groceries and fricking so on and so forth. Owned it 3 years. There's a little over 5,000 kms on it. So yeah, girlfriend is the stupidest thing I've ever spent money on. Bought my girlfriend a guitar distortion pedal for her birthday. She got me 3 packets of herbs like you'd use for cooking. Noticed a week later they were on special at the supermarket down the road, 3 for $5. Don't want to sound bitter, but when I was younger I went on a school trip to DC, and my mug gave me some spending money for food and what have you. I spent it all on one disposable camera and probably 12 brass pencil sharpeners that were shaped like cars, pianos, houses, etc. I then took pictures of the sharpeners with the camera. I was proud of my creations, but my parents were more than a little confused. Figures that I'm in art school now. Hundreds of dollars on airsoft guns. I even went so far as to purchase a sniper that was accurate to about 100 feet. I used it once to shoot a squirrel off a telephone pole, and never again. It's situational, but for me it's college textbooks. Never saw a need for them. In most of my classes the professors gave us all of the material needed to pass. All the material needed to pass. Sigh. University. I just spent $20 on a set of stickies. I think they're called. They're those sticky lint roller things that come in 3 sizes. I only need one for my clothes, but I figure that if I'm too lazy to vacuum, I can use the biggest one to sticky lint roll the floor, or something. I'll find a use for them. Bought a really expensive flashy looking jacket and wore it to a party. Ran into my close friend who had the same exact jacket on. We both don't wear it out anymore in fear that we will both decide to wear it on the same night again. That isn't a stupid purchase. I say, you and your friend just have issues. I bought a katana from the stoners next door. It's not even sharp and the blade reeks of weed. How IDK. But I'm pretty discreet about my own blazing, so I don't even show it off, cause once you unsheath it makes any room you're in smell like a dirty hippie. I've tried scrubbing it with Lysol wipes to no avail. WD-40. Every video game I ever bought for a past partner. I don't have a thing against video games, but considering that he completed them all within a month, traded them in for much less expensive games and then complained that I never bought him anything, wasn't worth it. Yikes, he sounds like the thing to regret most. Used to buy swords as a kid. By the time I turned 20 I had almost a dozen of them and I realized I was a virgin and owning near a dozen swords was possibly contributory to that. I had a membership to eMusic that I forgot to cancel for almost 2 years. God, that sucked. Also the first 2 years of college. Should have just done community and transferred. I don't even really have any friends from that time period anymore. Bad boob job. I got saline instead of silicone just to save $1,000. $6,500. Now I have to get reconstructive surgery because the saline implants are moving laterally, which is apparently something saline implants do fairly often. $7,200. Food, I know I need it but I hate spending money. I have probably spent it on something worse but I hate spending it on food. C. This is something I don't regret. Food is one of the best parts of life. If I have the money and the inkling, I'm going to get quality ingredients and make myself a quality meal and enjoy every bit of it. Not surprising I'm overweight, though. I bought the world's largest gummy bear from a website. It was $50, and I had to hide the purchase from my wife by having it sent to my work. Naturally I wanted to take some pictures, but forgot all about iCloud. So, she happened across iPhoto, and boom. Busted for secretly buying the world's largest gummy bear. Sigh. I spent $5 on a rock painted green. I bought it at the Superman Museum in Metropolis, Illinois. It was supposed to be kryptonite, obviously I knew it wasn't, but that doesn't change the fact that I spent $5 on a rock. 300 coins in Coindozer. I was inebriated and impatient. Only $8, though. That freaking game is so addictive. You pick it up and you're like, this is the stupidest crap I have ever seen, but then you start to those coins and oh dang, I've just got the purple sunglasses, and after the first prize set you just want more and more until you've spent hours just tapping on your phone so that you can play a game where you drop coins to push the coins you already dropped over the edge. Frick Coindozer. One of my family members just spent $75k of her retirement on the Nigerian scam. They convinced her through text and phone calls that she had won $3 million, so she started writing checks. Then, during conversations, they told her that the government would take their children if they didn't pay more taxes, so she sent them extra cash. I'll tell more, but I think this'll get buried and I don't want to waste time. The whole story. My grandmother-in-law has been living alone for several years, following the death of her husband. She was one of those people who lived in the same place, worked the same job, and did the same thing daily for about 50 years. Small town, conservative and religious. After her husband died, she was, understandably, lost and lonely. For a couple of years, she abused alcohol and prescription drugs. She has bad knees and a bad hip. She kept getting refills because the doctors viewed her as a little old lady, and most people don't think of elderly women as drug abusers. Things came to a boiling point when she was supposed to come to a family event, a 20-minute drive, but ended up driving around the city for 2 hours, seemingly lost. The family spoke with the doctors and got her help and things improved, but keep in mind that she was still old and painfully alone. Apparently, a branch off of the Nigerian scam involves sending text messages and profiting from the long distance charges when people reply. I don't know much about how they profit from this, so if someone reads this and can explain better, please do so. Anyway, she begins receiving text messages from Jamaica. The texts turn into phone calls and my in-laws get hit with an extra $150 charge for long distance calls, so they confront her. Her story is that she received the text messages and she and the sender became friends. She stated that they had deep conversations about God, Christianity, family, etc. The in-laws get upset and show her the charges, change her phone number, and move on thinking it was just a random event. Fast forward 2 months. In-laws get a call from grandmother. She begins telling this story about how she had sent $40k to this family in Jamaica. The reason she is telling the in-laws is because she spent all of her money and her financial advisor instructed her to tell the family and get help. How and why did this happen? It began with the texter saying she had won the lottery. You all know the scam, so no need to explain. She began sending money to claim her prize. After a while, she was befriended by a man who told a story that the Jamaican government was going to take his family away if he didn't pay more money, which he couldn't afford. So, she sent several money orders, $1,500 prepaid debit cards, and about $30k from credit card advances to help. Once she had maxed out her cards, she told the Jamaicans that she couldn't help anymore. They offered to pay off her credit card so she could send more. Not sure why she didn't tell them to keep the money and use it. They made a payment, which enabled her to take out more money, but they cancelled the payment as soon as she double dipped. Once the family got hold of this, they took control of her assets and used her retirement to pay the debt. $52k. Phone number changed again, daily oversight of finances, mental evaluations, and so on. She spent so much money that she couldn't afford groceries, and the chunk used from her retirement was roughly half. That's it, right? Nope. So, in-laws pay it off, and write it off as a crazy story to tell down the road, except that they began getting calls from creditors who wondered why they weren't being paid. Turns out that during all of this, she was communicating with them through email, and they really needed more help. So, she went to a quick cash place and took out several loans at a 200% interest rate. In-laws freak out, take out more money from retirement to pay loans off, take her phone, and beg for answers. When asked how she was going to pay off the loans, she said, well, with my lottery money. The end total was $76K, sent to a bunch of Jamaicans who are currently laughing in a big pile of money. I wanted to set in one of those Blackwater groups to either kill them or get the money back. My thought was, considering how much had been spent, a few thousand more to X-Seals would be well spent and would satisfy the thirst for revenge. Sadly, no one listened. Currently, TJE family is debating about whether or not they'll put her in a home, while she tells anyone who will listen that she isn't crazy. Getting old is sad. TLDR. Lonely grandmother is contacted by Jamaicans who convince her she won the lottery. Jamaicans befriend grandma and convince her their family is in need of money. Grandma sends $76K of her retirement to Jamaicans and hides it from family. Family finds out and grandma remains delusional. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.